Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की
जय।
जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
जय। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। निशा,
हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ कैसे हो?
ठीक।
हाँ। चलो शुरू करते हैं। एक सेकेंड, शेयर स्क्रीन। हरे कृष्णा। जय। can see the screen, yeah?
Yes.
हेलो अजय। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे
जय।
कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Sorry sir, late हो गया थोड़ा।
हाँ नहीं कोई नहीं, स्विमिंग में चले गए लगता है आज।
नहीं आज शिखा नहीं है तो I was just
हाँ,
picking up younger one from somewhere.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। हाँ नहीं कोई नहीं, आराम से। सो आई थिंक हम लोग अभी अध्याय 15वां पढ़ रहे हैं of the Skand 7, and we are on the 16th shlok. And as we mentioned, right, this 15th is the last adhyay of 7th Skand. So we would be completing 7th very soon, by next week maybe. So कल हम लोग 15th श्लोक पढ़ रहे थे, और जैसा कि इसमें about a good citizen, right, a गृहस्थ में कैसे रहना चाहिए, and what is an ideal human being, right, उसके बारे में नारद मुनि युधिष्ठिर महाराज को बता रहे हैं, right? And that's what we are reading right now. So let's start with 16th. Anil ji.
संतुष्ट निरीहस्य स्वात्मा रामस्य यत् सुखं कुतस्त काम लोभेन धावतो अर्थेहयादिशः. One who is content and satisfied, and who links his activities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead residing in everyone's heart, enjoys transcendental happiness without endeavoring for his livelihood. Where is such happiness for a materialistic man who is impelled by lust and greed, and who therefore wanders in all directions with a desire to accumulate wealth? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what Narad Muni is saying is that the person who is santushta asya, yeah, santushta, swa atma ramasya yat sukha, like the sukh, right, the pleasure, the one who is content and satisfied, and one who is then enjoying the transcendental happiness by doing the devotional service, some point slowly and slowly, right? When he starts enjoying the transcendental happiness, and if somebody is getting that, then why would anyone be engaged into kama lobhen, yeah, and keep running around in all different directions? Is what Narad Muni is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj, that somebody with a transcendental happiness, right, doesn't need to worry about anything. It doesn't need to roam around for different things in materialistic world. Right? Nisha?
सदा संतुष्ट मनसः सर्वाः शिवमयादिश शर्कराकंटकादिभ्यो यथोपानपदः शिवम्. For a person who has suitable shoes on his feet, there is no danger even when he walks on pebbles or thorns. For him, everything is auspicious. Similarly, for one who is always self-satisfied, there is no distress. Indeed, he feels happiness everywhere. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay?
Santushta Ken Va Rajan Var- Vartetapi Varna Opas Opasthya Jay Karn Kar Parnya Dvih Palayate Jana. My dear king, a self-satisfied person can be happy even with only drinking water. However, one who is driven by the senses, especially by the tongue and the genitals, must accept the position of a household dog to satisfy his senses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. असन्तुष्टस्य विप्रस्य तेजो विद्यात्तपो यश स्रवन्ति इन्द्रियलोलेन ज्ञानं चैवावकीर्यते. Because of greed for the sake of the senses, the spiritual strength, education, austerity, and reputation of a devotee or Brahman who is not self-satisfied dwindle, and his knowledge gradually vanishes. So what is being mentioned, even if someone is a Brahman, right? Brahman means like trying to do the gyan, trying to gain the gyan, right? Trying to do some devotional service. But if there is a greed for the sake of the senses, then the spiritual strength gradually vanishes, is what is being mentioned. Right? Anilji?
कामस्यान्तं हि क्षुत्रलिङ्गभ्यां क्रोधस्यैतत् फलोदयाल् जनो याति न लोभस्य त्वा भुक्त्वा दिशो भुवः. The strong bodily desires and needs of a person disturbed by hunger and thirst are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, that anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. But as for greed, even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world or has enjoyed everything in the world, still he will not be satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is mentioned is that, if there are bodily needs like hunger and thirst and all that, one gets satisfied once you eat, right? Once somebody eats, it's satisfied. Similarly, if somebody is angry and the anger is satisfied by chastisement and reactions, then also is satisfied. But what is being mentioned is even those can be controlled, but the greed cannot be controlled, right? Jano yati na lobhasya jitva bhukto dishabhava says that even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world, and we know the examples of this, right? People who have greed, it's, yeah, they can enjoy everything in the world, but the greed is never satisfied, is what is mentioned here. Read this. Ajay?
In Bhagavad Gita 3.37, it is stated that lust, anger, and greed are the cause of conditioned soul's bondage in this material world. Karma esa, krodha esa, rajo guna sambuddha. When strong lusty desires for sense gratification are unfulfilled, one becomes angry. This anger can be satisfied when one chastises his enemy, but when there is an increase in lobh or greed, which is the greatest enemy caused by rajogun, the mode of passion, how can one advance in Krishna consciousness? If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, this is a great boon. Tatra lokyam ekalam moolam. This is the best path available. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is mentioned is if you really want to have a greed, have it for Krishna consciousness. Then you want to have it more and more. Right? Nisha?
Pandita bahavo rajan bahugyaha संशयच्छिद्दः सदस्पतयोपेके asantoshat patandhadha. O King Yudhishthir, many persons with varied experience, many legal advisors, many learned scholars, and many persons eligible to become president of learned assemblies fall down into hellish life because of not being satisfied with their positions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, and we know the examples, right? So many legal advisors, so many learned scholars, they are still not satisfied what they have, and that becomes the cause of them falling down. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Tarun.
Hare Krishna again. Sankalpa jayat kamam krodham kama vivarjanat artha narthe keshaya lobham bhayam tattva varmarsanat sharnatha. By making plans with determination, one should give up lusty desires for sense gratification. Similarly, by giving up envy, one should conquer anger. By discussing the disadvantages of accumulating wealth, one should give up greed, and by discussing the truth, one should give up fear. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what is being mentioned is how can kamam, krodham, lobham, and bhayam, how can you get rid of those? Yeah, by different processes. Anilji?
Anikshityaam shokamohi moho dambam madupasaya yogantrayan monena insam kamadnihaya. By discussing spiritual knowledge, one can conquer lamentation and illusion. By serving a great devotee, one can become prideless. By keeping silent, one can avoid obstacles on the path of mystic yoga, and simply by stopping sense gratification, one can conquer envy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So in the previous slok, it was mentioned how you get over kam, krodh, lobh, right? And here is being mentioned how you can get over, yeah, the lamentation, the illusion, and even the pride. Yeah. Serving a great devotee, one can become prideless. Yeah. Staying silent can help. And simply by stopping the sense gratification, one can conquer envy, right? The Irsha. Nisha?
Krupaya bhutajam dukkham daivam jayat samadhina atmajam yoga viryena nidram sattva nishevaya. By good behavior and freedom from envy, one should counteract sufferings due to other living entities. By meditation in trance, one should counteract suffering due to providence. And by practicing Hatha Yoga, pranayam, or so forth, one should counteract sufferings due to the body and mind. Similarly, by developing the mode of goodness, especially in regards to eating, one should conquer sleep. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So who is saying all this?
Narad Muni.
Right. Yeah. Narad Muni is explaining this to Yudhishthira Maharaj on what a nice, good grihast and a good citizen should be behaving, right? The nice purport. It is Ajay.
By practice, one should avoid eating in such a way that other living entities will be disturbed and suffer. Since I suffer when pinched or killed by others, I should not attempt to pinch or kill any other living entity. People do not know that because of killing innocent animals, they themselves will have to suffer severe reactions from material nature. Any country where people indulge in unnecessary killing of animals will have to suffer from wars and pestilence imposed by the material nature. Comparing one's own suffering to the suffering of others, therefore, one should be kind to all living entities. One cannot avoid the sufferings inflicted by providence, and therefore, when suffering comes, one should fully absorb oneself in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. One can avoid sufferings from the body and mind by practicing mystic Hatha Yoga. Hare Krishna.
Rajastamaksha satvena satvam chopashamena cha etat sarva guru bhaktya purusho hajya. One must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of the modes of nature, right? What is mentioned is like, we have three modes of nature, right? Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. So first we need to win over Rajogun and Tamogun. To win over that, one must try the Satogun, right? And when one is in the mode of goodness, they need to promote themselves to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva is when you get out of the material attachment, the modes of material nature, right? And that Shuddha Sattva can be attained if one is engaged in that devotional service, devotional service of the spiritual master, devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is what is mentioned here, Tarun?
Just by treating the root cause of an ailment, one can conquer all bodily pains and sufferings. Similarly, if one is devoted and faithful to the spiritual master, he can conquer the influence of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna very easily. Yogis and Jnanis practice in many ways to conquer the senses, but the Bhakta immediately attains the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the mercy of the spiritual master. Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado. If the spiritual master is favorably inclined, one naturally receives the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one immediately becomes transcendental, conquering all the influences of Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna within this material world. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sa Gunan Samatityetam Tan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. If one is a pure devotee acting under the direction of the Guru, one easily gets the mercy of the Supreme Lord and thus becomes immediately situated on the transcendental platform. This is explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anilji?
Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati Jnanadi Papade Guru Martha Sadhi Shrutam Satasya Sarvam Kunjara Shochavat. The spiritual master should be considered to be directly the Supreme Lord because he gives transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. Consequently, for one who maintains the material conception that the spiritual master is an ordinary human being, everything is frustrated. His enlightenment and his Vedic studies and knowledge are like the bathing of an elephant. Hare Krishna.
Nisha?
एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः योगेश्वरैर्विमुग्धैर्गृहीर्लोको यं मन्यते नरम्. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the master of all other living entities and of the material nature. His lotus feet are sought and worshipped by great saintly persons like Vyas. Nonetheless, there are fools who consider Lord Krishna an ordinary human being. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is mentioned is Bhagwan Sakshat Pradhan Purushesh Ishvara. Lord Krishna is the master of all the living entities and material nature. Ajay?
Shadvarga Sayamay Kanta Sarva Niyam Chodhana Tadanta Yadi no Yogana Vaheyu Shrama Vaha. Ritualistic ceremonies, regulative principles, austerities, and the practice of yoga are all meant to control the senses and mind. But even after one is able to control the senses and mind, if he does not come to the point of meditation upon the Supreme Lord, all such activities are simply labor in frustration. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, what is being mentioned is like Shat work. Shat is like six. Six things are like the five karmendriyas and mind, man. Yeah. Those six things, you control them by doing austerities and practice of yoga. But the real thing which is being mentioned here is even if you do all that, even if you control the senses and mind, but if you don't follow the devotional service, then all these activities are simply labor in frustration. Yeah, is what is being mentioned. Tarun?
यथा वार्धोदयो ह्ये अर्थ योगासर्थं न बिभरति अनर्थया भवेयु स्म पूर्तम इष्टम तथा सतः. As professional activities or business profits cannot help one in spiritual advancement, but are a source of material entanglement, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot help anyone who is not a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Jyoti?
I'll read it. Can you, give me 2 minutes, please? Next one. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jyoti, what was that?
I'll read the next one. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Sure. Yakshit vijaye yantah shaniya sango aparigrah eko vivikta sharno vikshur bhakshamitasana. One who desires to conquer the mind must leave the company of his family and live in a solitary place, free from contaminated association. To maintain the body and soul together, he should beg as much as he needs for the bare necessities of life. Yeah. And we have seen this example in the Jain religion actually. You see how the Jain couple, they just leave everything. Like they leave their multi-million dollars, right? Crores and rupees, and they just leave and then they live in a solitary place, right? You okay to read now, Jyoti?
1 minute. I was in a call, Gajan. That's why 1 minute, please.
Okay. Anilji?
Yeah. देशेषु च समे राजन् संस्थाप्यासन्मात्मनः स्थिरं सुखं समं स्मिन्नासीत् ओमिति. My dear king, in a sacred and holy place of pilgrimage, one should select a place in which to perform yoga. The place must be level and not too high or low. There one should sit very comfortably, being steady and equipoised, keeping his body straight, and thus begin chanting the Vedic pranav. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nice purpose. So let's read this. Ajay?
Generally, the chanting of Om is recommended because in the beginning one cannot understand the personality of Godhead. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmeti param paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdayate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Unless one is fully convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has the tendency to become an impersonalist yogi searching for the Supreme Lord within the core of his heart. Dhyana vasisht tad gatenam manasa pashyanti yam yogina. Here, the chanting of Omkar is recommended because in the beginning of transcendental realization, instead of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one may chant Omkar, Pranava. There is no difference between the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Omkar because both of them are sound representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tarun?
In all Vedic literatures, the sound vibration Omkara is the beginning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That reference between chanting Omkar and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is that the Hare Krishna mantra may be chanted without consideration of the place or the sitting arrangements recommended in Bhagavad Gita. Sokudeshe pratikchatpaya sthiram asanam atmana nate uchitritam natinigam cham kelajinina kushortaram. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should neither be too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The Hare Krishna mantra may be chanted by anyone without consideration of the place or how one sits. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has openly declared, Niyamita smarane na kala. In chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are no particular injunctions regarding one's sitting place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that is the big difference which is being given here, right? All the mantras which we chant, right? Any mantras, one should sit down nicely, focus, and do the chanting nicely by sitting at one place, right? But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so that you can do it anyway, anyhow, and any place, right? That's the beauty of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So even if you are walking, right, doing any other activities, Hare Krishna mantra can be done, which is not the case with other mantra. Other mantra you have to do properly. Yeah, that's what is being mentioned here. Yeah, Nisha.
The injunction Niyamitah Smarane na Kalah includes Desh, Kal and Patra, place, time and the individual. Therefore, anyone may chant the Hare Krishna mantra without consideration of the time and place. Especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to find a suitable place according to the recommendations of Bhagavad Gita. The Hare Krishna mantra, Mahamantra, however, may be chanted at any place and any time, and this will bring results very quickly. Yet, even while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one may observe regulative principles. Thus, while sitting and chanting, one may keep his body straight, and this will help one in the chanting process. Otherwise, one may feel sleepy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, can be chanted at any place and time. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Sachin.
हरे कृष्णा प्राणापानो रुन्ध्यात पूरकुंभ करे चकैः यावन् मनस्त्यजेत कामान् नासाग्रनिरीक्षणः यतो यतो सरति मनः कामहतं भ्रमत् ततस्तत उपाहृत्य हृदि रुन्द्या Vindyacha Nair Buddha. While continuously staring at the tip of the nose, a learned yogi practices the breathing exercises through the technical means known as Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka, controlling inhalation and exhalation and then stopping them both. In this way, the yogi restricts his mind from material attachments and gives up all mental desire. As soon as the mind, being defeated by lusty desires, drifts towards feelings of sense gratification, the yogi should immediately bring it back and arrest it within the core of his heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Narad Muni is explaining how a yogi should control the mind by pranayama.
I can read now, Gajendra.
You can read, Jyoti? Okay, please.
So the English one, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's freezing on me. So
Can you see?
now I can see something.
Hmm?
Yeah, 1 minute, please hold on. Let me just put it. Which one is it?
Sorry, from here. Are you able to see, Jyoti?
Yeah, I'm reading. Can you hear me?
No.
Oh, what is it? You're not able to hear me?
Now, I mean, when you talk, I can hear, but I couldn't hear you reading.
Oh, of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. A devotee can immediately become a perfect yogi because he practices keeping Krishna constantly within the core of his heart. This is another way to practice yoga easily. The Lord says, Mana Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto Mad Yaji Imam Namaskuru. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. If one practices devotional service by always keeping Krishna within the core of his heart, mana, he immediately becomes a first class yogi. Furthermore, keeping Krishna within the mind is not a difficult task for the devotee. For an ordinary man in the bodily concept of life, the practice of yoga can be helpful, but one who immediately takes to devotional service can immediately become a perfect yogi without difficulty. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so as we have read in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Bhagavan is again and again repeating this, right? That always be my devotee. Yeah, Sarva Dharma Paritajya, right? Mamekam Sharanam Namaya. Same thing he's saying here, like, Shraddhavan Bhajate Yo Mam Same Yuktatma Mata. Like, of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all, right? So again and again, Lord Krishna keeps saying that devotional service is the most important one. Yeah, Anilji?
एवमध्यस्य चित्तं काले नाल्पीयसायतेः निशं तस्य निर्वाणं यात् निन्दन् बहिन्वत्. When the yogi regularly practices in this way, in a short time his heart becomes fixed and free from disturbance like a fire without flames or smoke. Hare Krishna.
Nisha?
कामादिभिरनाविद्धं प्रशान्तखिलरिति यत् चित्तं ब्रह्मसुखस्पृष्टं नैवोत्तिष्ठेत कर्हिचित्. When one's consciousness is uncontaminated by material lusty desires, it becomes calm and peaceful in all activities, for one is situated in eternal blissful life. Once situated on the platform, one does not return to materialistic activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay?
यह प्रव्रज्य गृहात्य पूर्व त्रिवर्ग वपनात् पुनः यदि सेवेतः तान् भिक्षुः स वै वान्ताश्च तत्रपः. One who accepts the sannyasa order gives up the three principles of materialistic activities in which one indulge in the field of household life, namely religion, economic development, and sense gratification. One who first accepts sannyas but then returns to such materialistic activities to be called a vatasi, or one who eats his own vomit. He is indeed a shameless person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tarun?
ये स्वदेहाय स्मर्तो नात्मा मर्त्योवित् कर्मी भस्मवत् ता एनम् आत्मसत् कृत्वा श्लाघयन्ति हि असतमः. Sannyasis who first consider that the body is subject to death when it will be transformed into stool, worms, or ashes, but who again give importance to the body and glorify it as the self, are to be considered the greatest rascals. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sachin?
गृहस्थस्य क्रिया त्यागो व्रतत्यागो वटोरपि तपस्विनो ग्रामसेवा भिक्षोरि इंद्रिय लोलता आश्रमापसदा हेते खल्वाश्रम विडंबनः देव माया विमूढ़ान् स्थानुपेक्षेता अनुकंपया. It is abominable for a person living in the Grihastha ashram to give up the regulative principles. For a brahmachari not to follow the brahmachari vows while living under the care of the guru. For a vanaprastha to live in village and engage in so-called social activity. Or for a sannyasi to be addicted to sense gratification. One who acts in this way is to be considered the lowest renegade. Such a pretender is bewildered by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should either reject him from any position or, taking compassion upon him, teach him, if possible, to resume his original position. Hare Krishna.
Jyoti? Jyoti, can you read? Jyoti? Anilji?
Yeah.
One minute.
Atmanam.
I'll read one minute. Atmanam chedvijaniyaparam jnana doshayaha kimecchan kasya va hetordeham pushnati lampataha. The human form of body is meant for understanding the self and the supreme self, the supreme personality of Godhead, both of whom are transcendentally situated. If both of them can be understood when one is purified by advanced knowledge, for what reason and for whom does a foolish, greedy person maintain the body for sense gratification? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what is mentioned is if what is the human form of body is really meant for. Yeah, we have 8.4 million different species, but one who gets the human body, right, is really meant to understand the self and the supreme self. That is the soul and the super soul and the supreme personality of Godhead. And that's the only way one gets purified and can go back to Godhead. So what is being mentioned is then Kimichana Kishaya Vaheto Deham. Like, why would a foolish, greedy person maintain the body for sense gratification rather than trying to understand the self and supreme personality of Godhead? Rahu Shariram Vratamindriyani Kayanabhishapunam Indriyesham Vartamani Matradhishanam Cha Sutam Sattvam Brihadabandhurami Isha Sristam. Transcendentalists who are advanced in knowledge compare the body, which is made by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to a chariot. The senses are like the horses. The mind, the master of the senses, is like the reins. The objects of the senses are the destinations. Intelligence is the chariot driver, and consciousness, which spreads throughout the body, is the cause of bondage in this material world. Yeah. So let's just do one more shlok, Anilji.
Aksham dasha pranam dharma dharmo chakre vimanam rathinam jivam dhanurhi tasya pranavam patanti sharam tu jivam parameva laksham. The 10 kinds of air acting within the body are compared to the spokes of the chariot's wheels, and the top and bottom of the wheel itself are called religion and irreligion. The living entity in the bodily concept of life is the owner of the chariot. The Vedic mantra Pranab is the bow, the pure living entity himself is the arrow, and the target is the Supreme Being. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, when Narad Muni is explaining to Yudhishthira Maharaj how to get merged within the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And very nice purport, but we are going to read it next week. Yeah, it explains like what are the different types of vayus and those things are there, right? So I think let's pause and then let's hear a nice bhajan. Since we are all doing the devotional service, the bhajan we were listening yesterday, we'll continue listening to that and complete it today, right? Just 5 to 6 minutes remaining right now. So.
रसिक मुकुट मणि जय गोपी जन जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन रसिक मुकुट मणि जय गोपी जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन रसिक मुकुट मणि जय गोपी जन जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन रसिक मुकुट मणि जय गोपी ओ राधे राधे रटे श्याम श्याम राधे 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 श्याम युगल नाम मेरो है जीवन हो श्याम ही है मेरो यार श्याम ही सो मेरो प्यार श्याम ही है मेरो यार श्याम ही सो मेरो प्यार श्याम ही समायो है कृपालु तन मन श्याम ही समायो है कृपालु जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन रसिक मुकुट मणि जय गोपी जन जय राधे जय कृष्ण श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय।
All right. So nice bhajan this was in the Prem Mandir. So in the Prem Mandir, when there is a Aarti in the morning, Mangla Aarti, around I think 5, and then there is a bhajan for like almost 45 minutes or so. Really beautiful. Like I think last time when we went to Prem Mandir, and they don't allow anyone actually, just only the devotees are there generally that time. But if you know someone, you can get in in India, right? So, but it's really, really amazing. Like that time in Prem Mandir, so beautiful. So cool. Have a long weekend again. And we'll see you on Monday, 9:30 p.m. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.